Hi, and welcome to the second episode of this Football Manager 2012 playthrough. We're currently on the senior squad screen. I wanted to have a look at some of the players that I had brought in on transfers, all of them free transfers, using two main methods. One was various websites that indicated the best free transfers available. I have to be honest, that's what I did. I used some of that for 3 or 4, or 2 or 3 players actually, I think. The other method was through the search engine that's in-game and just looking at people's stats. I did have one person that was offered to me by their agent on a free transfer, Francisco Pavon, and my scouts actually found Ross Forbes. I have a Scottish scout, and he found that particular player. I did find that using this method, this is the search tool, the search engine that's within the game, it gives you the opportunity here, as you can see, unrealistic transfers. I think it's automatically ticked that all unrealistic transfers will be removed from any search results that you find. Now this is great to some degree because it saves you a vast amount of time asking lots and lots of people who have got no intention of coming to your club whether they will or not. I, however, turned this off both for staff when I was looking for them and for players when I was looking for them, and found that although it took me quite a while, and I think I probably spent another 3 or 4 hours looking for staff and players, I did get a number. All of my staff were those who would have been screened out by unrealistic transfers, and certainly some of the players that I got in would have been considered unrealistic transfers. So although it does save you probably an inordinate amount of time, it will also exclude players that might possibly come to your club. And if you're starting off in a situation where you don't have much in the way of money, or you've got a lot of time to try and find the very best players that you can to come to you, then certainly I would consider making a search that includes unrealistic transfers, and then using your own powers of or skills in terms of deciding who you believe would be approachable, and prepare to get knocked back a lot. You're going to get players saying, I've got no intention whatsoever, or agents more often saying, I've got no intention whatsoever of coming to your club. But yeah, that's the only thing. Otherwise, it's a very fine tool, and yeah. Anyway, so I got Biel Ribas, a goalkeeper, to back up Jilks, or even to take Jilks' place, who's been the first choice for a little while. 25 years of age. Again, 80k value, so not really worth a lot at the moment in terms of selling value, considering he's on 10 grand a week. And I've signed people for as long as possible, largely wherever I could. I've also got Danny Wilson in from Liverpool. He's on a loan, and I bought him actually because he plays for Blackpool, or he's on loan for the whole season. I also tried to get Lomano Loa, who also plays for Blackpool for the whole season, but yeah, it wasn't possible. He chose another club, and I did put in bids for maybe, I don't know, 15, 16 players, because yeah, I was hoping that a number of them would accept and others wouldn't, and others would be obtained by various other clubs and so on. So it proved, but I'm pretty happy with what I've got, other than I've probably got too many midfielders now. Here's another reasonably young guy I felt that was worth having a look at and bringing in. And again, 65k's worth. Tom Sotaris, he's definitely someone that I got from various websites, and we'll see how he gets on. Good stats, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I've got two very young players, Phillips and Ince, who I intend to play as advanced midfielders, wingers basically. But I did want to have other more experienced players who could come in if they went through poor periods of form or wherever it may be. Yeah, so those guys. And also I understood that Elliot Grandin was going to get transferred to Southampton. There was a $3 million bid in, but they couldn't agree terms with him, so that kind of cost me in terms of my wages. I'm not really able to afford very much now. We're right up to the limit. Francisco Pavon was offered to me, and I thought, I'll take another central defender. I've got a few, and he seemed to have very good stats. Just have a quick look again, with marking, tackling, and heading. And I really felt we needed somebody that was, and again with teamwork, a lot of good stats in the areas that are important for a defender. And I thought it wouldn't do any harm to bring him in. But I only got him for a year, because at the time when I was approached with him, I wasn't really thinking about it, and I just went, maybe we'll take you, maybe we won't, we'll see how it goes. So I didn't get him for very long. Ross Forbes, young Scots player, definitely one for the future, I hope. And I got him for cheap because he wasn't getting paid very much from Motherwell. And again, another one whose value isn't very high. I'm not really sure what's going on with that or what the process is. And another player that I found on the interweb, Ahmed Sakuna, a striker, because we're fairly short of strikers. Having said that, my intention is largely to play the following two formations, and I've just put two formations on. The main one will be the 4-5-1 with two wide midfielders. It's kind of a variation of 4-3-3 really. It's an interesting discussion anyway between what is 4-3-3 and what football formations are, what the value is of them, and what they really suggest and mean, because very often I think it's Slaven Bilic who says that really it's just for journalists, and at the beginning of each half that's the only time you're really going to see teams in their formations. But for the purpose of this game, it's a fairly important part of the strategic and tactical elements. So I intend to play this 4-5-1 attacking formation, or 4-1-2-1-2. So two strikers in this, two out-and-out strikers. Although Gary Taylor-Fletcher, is he an out-and-out striker? I don't know. Maybe not. I think he's more of a very attacking midfielder and playmaker. But he can play up front as a striker as well. He's a very flexible player, a very good player as well. I think hopefully will be in this game. So I'm just concentrating. You can set up 3 tactics, but at the moment I'm just concentrating on the 2, and I'll probably introduce a third when we've got much more familiar with these particular tactics. And I've set these right from the start, and we're still a long way from being absolutely fluid. I don't know what's the next with this formation. So on the secondary formation, familiarity, we seem to be much more familiar with that for some reason, although I put them on at the same time. I'm not sure why. Anyway, those are the formations I'm going to be using. Staff, I've got all new staff in, I think, because basically I needed to raise the rating levels. When we began with the rating levels, it was just ridiculous. And what I did was completely undo the ratings, the automatic ratings, and then do it individually. And it moved from an average of 2 up to what the average that you can see now, which is closer to 3. Just using the same guys, but actually individually, manually, appointing people to certain tasks. Brought Tony Coton in, and these two, Andrew Cole, who you may remember, and Mark Chamberlain, who some of you may also remember, both very skilled, capable players. They were both considered to be unrealistic targets in my staff search, so that's one of the things I was referring to earlier. And that's pretty much as I've done, other than follow the advice, and there are regular backroom staff meetings, other than following the advice that I'm given by the backroom staff to make adjustments in training. That's pretty much what I've done. What about fixtures? Yeah, the season has begun, and begun reasonably well. I did what I said I was going to do. We arranged various games abroad, went on a tour of France, and that went reasonably well. Lost a game at Lille, drew one. It was all good. Then a couple of home games against French-Belgian sides, and then the week before the start of the season proper, we played Atalanta, who clearly a very good Italian side, and they thumped us. We got mauled in that game, absolutely battered. And I was going to slip another game in, but I thought, no, we've had enough pre-season. I'm just going to take that one on the chin and hope the lads aren't too badly affected by it. And then we went on to play our first game proper against Watford at home, in front of a full house. 16,006 is the capacity apparently. And very good game, really good start. Elliot Grandin, Danny Wilson, Tom Swatters scoring, and really pleased with that. Then on to play Bury in League Cup, and we won that game 4-2. After falling behind, Mark Cullen scoring for Bury, and then Angel, Gary Taylor-Fletcher and Kevin Phillips scoring for ourselves. I actually changed the team completely from the Watford game to the Bury game. Played two different teams entirely, and that seemed to work out okay. Reading 2-2 away, really pleased with that result as well. I think they'll do well this season. And then a 2-0 win again with Danny Wilson scoring his second goal. So I wasn't as a central defender very pleased with what he's done, and it's a terrific start. So that's it for now, and hopefully we'll move on to the next episode.